Walmart, the world's largest retailer, is scaling back its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in the United States. Now, this comes in the wake of former U.S. President Donald Trump's re-election. The changes in Walmart's policies are sweeping. So what precedent does this set? And could we see similar changes at Canadian companies? Joining us with more this morning is Michelle Grocholski. Michelle is the CEO and founder of Empowered EDI and consults with companies on implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Welcome to Your Morning.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie.
So let's start with Walmart as the jumping off space. The U.S. Walmart is not renewing a 5-year commitment for an equity racial center. They are no longer giving priority to suppliers owned by women, and they're going to pull out of a prominent gay rights index. What precedent does it set when big companies like this roll back on DEI?
Well, there's this adage that when the United States sneezes, we here in the North catch a cold. And that is certainly the case when it comes to DEI. But it's not just starting now. In fact, we've seen these rollbacks happening for the better part of a year now. For example, data shows that back in 2021, 70% of HR people felt confident that their organizations were doing DEI for the right reasons. Now, fast forward to 2023, that number significantly drops to 60%. And I think we're going to see more sentiment along these lines. I think with the U.S. administration, the next U.S. administration taking hold, we're going to see lower confidence that organizations are doing this work for the right reasons or that they're doing it well. Now, here in Canada, what we're noticing is that companies are cutting their budgets, they are letting go of their DEI staff, and they're putting their strategic plans for DEI on the shelf before they've even had a chance to materialize or show results. However, it's the companies that didn't really understand what DEI was in the first place, or maybe were doing it for performative reasons. They were checking boxes. They weren't necessarily changing the ways in which decisions are being made so that they're more fair, they're based on evidence, and that people across all communities can benefit. So companies that staying the course when they're truly committed, and the ones that are moving forward or rolling back are often the ones that didn't really understand what they were solving for to begin with.
This is part of an ongoing conversation in the U.S. From college campuses to corporations, they are looking to eliminate or change DEI policies. So do you expect an increase in moves like this under a Trump administration? Even your own company goes by EDI and not DEI, which is a switch up that some companies are making.
And we do that on purpose because we believe that when organizations prioritize fairness, ethics, transparency, well, then that's when we remove those barriers or stigmas that get in the way of qualified talent entering into our organizations. So we do expect that there will be pullbacks across all industries and sectors. However, the need has never been more urgent. We at Empowered have surveyed more than 8,500 employees in Canada. And what we learned is that 59% of employees in Canada feel as though their perspectives are not being heard. 20% of Canadians feel like they are being silenced at work. And I can tell you, I've been in this field for about 18 years. I've worked with over 100 companies across 30 industries. When employees do not feel heard, they stop contributing. They don't share their ideas. They don't give their honest perspectives on matters, which means that organizations fail to innovate, they fail to perform, and there's greater risks of making mistakes because their decisions are going to be ill-informed. So when companies pull back on DEI, they're pulling back on innovation and performance.
Because this is your field, I'm going to ask you, what do you think is driving this backlash?
Misunderstanding. When people think of DEI, they think we are hiring or promoting people because of their gender or because of the color of their skin. And maybe some companies have been doing that. That is not, in fact, what good, sustainable DEI or EDI looks like. When we do this work well, we are looking at how decisions get made. We're looking at performance reviews to make sure they're fair and unbiased. We're taking a look at benefits packages to make sure that they adequately support people. For example, mental health. We're making sure people get equal pay for equal work. We are, when doing this work correctly, never lowering the bar, but we are lowering the bias.
I want to thank you, Michelle, for joining us today. It's a conversation we're watching closely here north of the border as we start to see changes in the U.S. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. What a pleasure.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.